Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Oilersnation After Dark. Connor Halley with you here tonight. We got Gavin the Intern on the other side, keeping us on track here tonight on the show. We'll be joined by Zach Laing, of course, of Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff, recapping the Oilers' 4-3 overtime loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that it's looking like the Oilers might see in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Already, you can see the chat on Facebook and YouTube blowing up. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you are on YouTube, make sure you go back and hit that like button. Same thing with Facebook. If you're tuned in on Twitter, hit the retweet, and we'll get to all your comments as well. I can see the frustration boiling over, and I get it. I may have a little punch onto the couch after that one. Tough game for the Oilers. Just couldn't find a way to take that lead. Hung around, never gave up, but could not get the job done. But if you're the eternal optimist, they do get that one loser point. So they'll take that point and know that it gets you a little bit closer to LA and a little bit further of Seattle in the standings. We will get to the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance in a minute here. But before that, I'll just go a quick rundown of exactly what happened in case you missed anything in the game tonight. And that was Jack Eichel early on in the game, just a minute in, scoring his 27th goal of the season, the first shot of the game. And that had the Oilers down 1-0. Certainly a goal I think that Stuart Skinner would like back. Obviously, goalies would like all goals back, but that was a bit of a softie. Zach Hyman would score a couple minutes later, making it 1-1, his 31st goal of the season. Leon Draisaitl with a beautiful feed, and I don't think you'll find a more Zach Hyman goal than that one. Go into the blue paint, stick on the ice, and gets the nice tap in. That was also the first shot for the Oilers. So the goalies had it in common. The goalie union was strong in this one. They each allowed that first goal and the first shot, and it was 1-1. Pavel Dorofeyev would score his fifth goal of the season in 10 games. An interesting goal in the power play. Not going to fault Stuart Skinner on that one. It was a nice shot, quick release. After 20 minutes, the Vegas Golden Knights were up 2-1. In the second period, just one goal. Leon Draisaitl, his 45th goal of the season on the power play. Leon Draisaitl, I thought, was fantastic tonight. Not just the goal and the assist, but creating opportunities. He was really starting to find his game, which is encouraging for the Oilers heading into the playoffs. On to the third. Jonathan Marchessault would get his 24th goal of the season from Eichel and Theodore. This one, a weird goal because it was a 2-on-4. I think it was Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins were watching the puck maybe a little bit too much. Marchessault sneaks in, beats Skinner 3-2 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Warren Foegele, though, the guy shows up in big situations, got his 13th goal of the season. Darnell Nurse, Kyler Yamamoto picked up the helpers on that one. It was 3-3, so we go to overtime, and tough one if you are Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evander Kane, or Matthias Ekholm out there for probably a little bit too long, got trapped in their own end, and eventually Nicholas Roy would make them pay his 13th goal of the season. Jack Eichel, Theodore with the helpers. Jack Eichel, 3 points. You know he's going to get motivated when he plays Connor McDavid. That's how the game ends. With that now, just before we get to the good, the bad, the oily, Las Vegas sitting atop the Pacific Division with 98 points. LA victorious today over Winnipeg 4-1, so they now have 94 points, and the Oilers sitting in third with 91 points. Seattle did win today over Nashville 7-2. They now have 88 points with a game in hand of the Oilers. Right now, I talked about it a couple times. Let's get to the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. Visit cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone's Insurance Brokers is ranked amongst the best in Alberta. For the good, the bad, the oily, we bring in Zach Laing of Oilers Nation, Daily Faceoff. Zach, good evening. How you doing tonight?
Connor, I'm doing okay. I could be better. An extra point would have been nice to come out of that one tonight. But, I guess we'll take the loser point and move on with it.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of sitting there. It's like, oh, it's nice to get that. But at the same time, you gave that to Vegas as well. In a game where there's that potential 4-point swing, I guess if you're going to be on the losing end, you might as well do it in overtime. Let's get to the good tonight. And I kind of touched on it as this whole thing got started. Leon Draisaitl, a goal and assist tonight. The goal was nice. The assist was nice. He's really starting to find his game when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wow, what more can you say about this guy's production as of late? I was actually looking at his numbers lately for my day after article. In his last 6 games, including tonight, he's got 3 goals and 14 points. I mean, it is just insane to see the way this guy has racked up the numbers as of late. Well, Leon Draisaitl's an interesting player, right? Like, he came into this year, he was still hurt from that high ankle sprain. In November, it was reported that he was still dealing with some discomfort and stuff, and he kind of seemed to have a really, like, up and down season, but yet he just put up a career high in points tonight with his 111th on the season. It's been pretty incredible to see. We know about Leon Draisaitl. This is a guy that turns it on when the games matter most, right? Say what you will, he can coast at times through the regular season, but damn, when those games matter like they do right now, like he hits another level, and I think he's going to be a huge X factor for this team here.
Yeah, I really found it intriguing. I don't even know when the interview was, but he talked about how, suffering that injury kind of helped his game, big picture, finding out different ways to score, not having to rely on maybe the mobility or the strength that he once had. So it's going to be fun to see what he can do and raise his game even further on this one. Leon is a sicko, says Isaiah in the chat. He is a sicko. Okay, as we always say here, with the good comes the bad. We have to always include the bad here. And for this one, we'll say not taking the lead because, they found ways to keep it within one throughout this game, Zach, and tie things up on 3 separate occasions, but they just could not take that lead.
Yeah, they couldn't. It was frustrating to watch. And, when I watched the game, it really felt like, the Oilers kind of turned it on a little bit in the third period. But I don't necessarily know if that was true. Just kind of going back and looking at the numbers, the Oilers only controlled 35% of the shot attempt share in the third period at 5-on-5. It's a pretty abysmal number at that point in the game, considering in the first period they controlled 55%, and in the second they controlled 62. So, in one sense of the term, it did feel like they were there all night long, but you would have liked to see maybe a little bit of a stronger push from this team, especially late in that game. I thought they had some good looks, right? But, they kind of just let Vegas kind of stick around in that game. And that was kind of a frustrating thing to watch, right? You look at the Jonathan Marchessault goal, in the third period there, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, that's a tough one, man. You lose your guy in the zone like that. And then in overtime, I mean, what the hell was that from Evander Kane? I mean, let's be real here, right? We're playing one-on-one, man-on-man hockey here at 3-on-3 overtime. Evander goes for a little skate down into the corner, loses his guy. And it's not even like he hustles to get back to the front of the net either. He kind of just coasts there and then skates towards the back of the net. Yeah, I get it. They were out there for a minute and a half long, but at the end of the day, this is overtime. This is do or die time right now. And Vegas is a team that you are absolutely competing for playoff positioning right now. So, it was a pretty disappointing way to end that game. But I will, you mentioned it earlier, Warren Fogle. Big credit to him for finding a way to get on the score sheet again tonight. This is a kid or a guy that I'm a big fan of. I really like his game, and I think he's fit in well on this team in the last 2 seasons here. And it's great to see him, getting rewarded with some more offense this season.
Yeah, I think Evander Kane on that goal, pretty unexcusable with what happened. But that game, I mean, that when they started throwing the bodies, like after McDavid took that cross check, you saw guys throwing hits. I'm like, okay, this is where Evander Kane's going to show up. And it just never really happened. So kind of an off night for number 91, but hopefully he can bounce back at that swagger, that anger that gets him really going. We have to get to the Oily as well here. The good, the bad, the Oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance and important divisional games. And Zach, I mean, this one kind of writes itself. We were going to use this one, I think, with a win or a loss because it's so important right now, just the way Vegas, LA, and even Seattle are playing. Still to come on the schedule. You got the Coyotes on Monday, but after that, you got the Golden Knights, the Kings, the Ducks, then the Kings again. So, 3 big games coming up against teams that are ahead of you in the standings. You got to find a way to win a couple, it would seem.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be one hell of a week here, right? I mean, like, look at that Arizona game last Wednesday. Like, that was a really tight game, right? Like this Arizona team is playing insanely good hockey right now for what they are as a roster right now. The Oilers cannot take them lightly on Monday down in the desert. It's gonna be cool to see him play in Mullet Arena. Finally, it's taken only all season to see this happen. And then Tuesday, you go back to back against Vegas. I mean, that is a tough 1-2 punch right there. Like people might roll their eyes and be like, "Oh, it's Arizona," but like, has anybody seen what Clayton Keller is doing right now? Like, the guy is putting up some offense right now. And again, you just look back to last Wednesday. It was a 4-3 game in overtime. That was a nail biter, right? Another overtime game here. I mean, three overtime games in a row for the Oilers here. They're playing a lot, right? And then you mentioned it too, LA on Thursday. I mean, it is tough. Like, these are some tough games, and these are tense games. And I think tonight really started to feel like playoff hockey to me, Connor. It really felt like the intensity of that game. It felt like both teams knew the importance of it, right? We're sitting here, right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games away, from the playoffs kicking off this season. This is the point in the year where we really start to see things really ratchet up in the gameplay, and I think tonight we really got a taste of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't remember Clayton Keller, you have a short memory, and you might want to get that checked out. This guy's on fire right now. So, yeah, you can't just sit there, sleep on the Coyotes. They get fired up playing at Mullet Arena. I mean, if anyone wants to book a last-minute trip down to Arizona, try AMA Travel. I think they could make it happen for you. Maybe help you out with that one. It'd be a nice little place to spend a few days down in the desert, get out of our inconsistent weather, although it is getting pretty nice here. Check them out, AMA Travel. Just want to give a quick shout out to everyone here on the Facebook chat. I see Shane, Mike, Jessica, Brent, Brooke, Diane, Scott, Kevin, Ron, Lonnie, Craig. I think that's everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll get to your comments in a section here on YouTube. We got Lance, you and Rusty, Mike, Predineski, Jack the Oilers fan. Did I get you in already? I think I got you in there. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in on this one. Maynard. Yeah, Sergeant Battle. A lot of people in there right now. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Zach, why don't we bring in Gavin here? Gavin actually brought up some good points here because I mentioned it to you guys on one of the intermissions there. They talked about Zach Hyman on the Sportsnet CBC panel and just what he does and where he goes to score his goals. And obviously we know the disallowed goals with him has almost become a joke here because every goal he scores, you have to think about it. The goal he scored tonight in the blue paint, heavy stick, doing what he does to get goals. Gavin, you actually had a pretty cool chart. If you're able to bring that up,
I'll bring it up.
Explain just where the majority of his goals are coming from.
Yeah, like obviously Zach Hyman sees most of his success in the blue paint, right? Yeah, you'll get those disallowed goals here and there, but Zach Hyman is on a career pace this year. He's already surpassed his career high in goals, and it's not by lack of trying. As you can see, he gets in the dirty areas, and as a result, he's been putting the puck away. So a guy like Zach Hyman is huge down the stretch and huge in the playoffs as well, obviously.
Now, Zach, I mean, they talked about it on the broadcast there, and I mean, he's not going to change his game, right? That's what Zach Hyman does. That's how he's made his money. Maybe you got to try to avoid the contact a little bit, but in the case that they show, sometimes he's there first and he's just beats the goalie to the right position.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? But I think, the point that Elliot Friedman was making was, maybe this is kind of a point in the year where the coaching staff has to go to Hyman and say, hey, listen, you need to just make sure you keeping your head on a swivel and really knowing where you are on the ice in these situations. Make sure those feet are on the edge of the crease. Make sure you're not getting into a spot where you're going to be impeding with the goaltender. As you mentioned, and as you see from the chart there, right? This is a guy that just loves to go to the dirty areas of the ice. He just loves to score goals in front of the net, crashing the crease, doing whatever he can. And I think that's an element that the Oilers don't have a lot of in their game right now. Like a guy like Evander Kane, he's still a little bit more of a perimeter player, perimeter shooter. Leon Draisaitl, Connor, they can score from anywhere on the ice. We saw, Leon score from a real high danger area tonight on the power play with that beautiful little backhand take to the forehand shot. I really, really like that. But when it comes to Hyman, it's interesting too, because if you dig a little deeper on the underlying numbers for him this year, yeah, he's got 31 goals, but in terms of his individual expected goals, he actually should be a 40 goal scorer this season. It's pretty insane. You don't see a split like that of a 9 goal difference between expected and actual goals scored. So this is a guy who's had, 6, 7 goals already taken off this year because of these disallowed goals, right? I mean, really. And come playoff time, I mean, the Oilers cannot be finding themselves in a situation where we're losing a goal because of a goaltender interference call from Hyman. As much as we love him, this is something that they're going to have to probably talk with them about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so important once they get into the playoffs, and it almost feels like when opposing teams see him lead the flyby, It's like, yeah, let's take a look at that one. Let's just see what it is. He's garnered that reputation around the league. It's Oilers Nation After Dark. Connor Halley, Zach Laing, Gavin the Intern for a little bit longer. Gavin, you might shed that intern label soon here. Just quickly here on YouTube, Lance says, I'm only here to hear about the Connor Halley laser show. Yeah, last night I went to a laser show at the Space and Science Center, or TELUS World of Science, as people younger than me would refer to it as. It was Outcast, and it was awesome. So if you want to spend $15 to go see a laser show, I highly recommend it. Pink Floyd was after Outcast. I didn't stick around for that one. Not the biggest Pink Floyd fan, but I think people have a good time with that. So just squeeze that in very quickly. I don't know if you guys ever been to laser shows.
I'm a big
I have
Pink
not.
Floyd guy, and I'm a big like laser show guy. So I might be having to go check that out.
Yeah. You know what? For $15, it's worth it. Tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll hook me up with a membership or something. But that place is awesome. You can go geek out there for a little while. Some people bringing up the refs in the Facebook chat here, and I had no problem with the Matthias Ekholm call at the end. I think by the rules that's a hold. But I didn't like some of the other things. The McDavid cross-check, that one didn't even bug me either. Like, that's going to happen. I commended Vinny Desharnais for being like that against Jonathan Taves. That's going to happen. I didn't like the cross-check on Bukestad. Didn't like the cross-check on Derek Ryan. Zach, what did you make of the officiating tonight?
Well, as I said on a couple of, I think the last show that we were sitting here, we were having a similar conversation about referees. I'd say the same thing that I said then. It was dog shit tonight. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't dog shit, but I definitely didn't think it was great, right? I mean, I think that Ekholm call at that point in the game, that's a cheeky call. Like, it really is, considering, some of the things that they kind of let go in that period. And granted, the Oilers were able to kill it off. And not only just kill it off either, they didn't allow a single shot against on that entire penalty kill, which was really great to see because, Desharnais is a guy who's kind of become a staple on that PK, since he was recalled a few months ago. But yeah, the refereeing, the officiating was a little bit rough tonight, I thought. They kind of put the whistles away in the second and the third period, and then all of a sudden, 7 minutes to go, they're making an important call like that, right? It's a critical point in the game, and I hate when that sort of stuff happens with referees.
Gavin, you have the similar thoughts, or?
Yeah, I'm the exact same similar thoughts as Zach just mentioned too. Yeah, but it's just become like an every game occurrence at this point. Like, nothing will beat, though, that James Reimer tackle on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Nothing will ever top that. But yeah, referee was definitely not the best again tonight.
Liam, some guy named Liam says, what's Devin Score's chart look like? Gavin, did you piece that one together, or is that coming later?
Yeah, I have not seen Devin Scores. Nope, not yet.
Shout out to Liam over there. First goal matters from Shane on Facebook. Yeah, 100%. That's a tough one to get that setback there. Scott said quite a few non-calls in the third. I would totally agree. Thought the Leafs were going to let them play. And Zach, like you said, maybe a little ticky-tack on that one. Brooks says, damn, we needed a lead or needed that win. And Craig says, not a good overtime. Yeah, I mean, once Kane, Nuge, and Ekholm were pinned out there for as long as they were, the writing was kind of on the wall.
I guess we used all of our overtime after the last two games here, but obviously I still want to get that extra point tonight. But yeah, like you said, they're just hemmed out there for too long. They were just dog tired, but on to Arizona now.
Yes, absolutely. That's a Monday 8 o'clock game, so we'll be back here probably 10:30, 10:40, give or take. We talked about it before we hopped on here, Gavin. First loss since March 11th. It was a 7-4 loss to the Maple Leafs, so the Oilers playing better hockey. Zach, I talked about it on my day job, I suppose. I was a little bit concerned, the last couple games for the Oilers against weaker opponents, letting them in it, allowing them to score a lot of goals. And I thought today would be a really good marker for them to see how they can play defensively against better teams. Obviously, the power play goal, tough to hold them against that one. That's going to happen. I thought the Marchessault goal, like you said, Nuge and Draisaitl coming in there. I mean, they got back. They were in the right position, but Marchessault just kind of sneaky. What did you make of the overall defensive play at even strength?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, I didn't think that they were tremendous tonight by any sense of the term. But, again, you guys know me. I'm a big numbers guy, right? You take a look at the things and, they controlled the scoring chance share. And most importantly, they controlled 55% of the high danger scoring chances. And I think that's the one that really jumps out to me, especially at this time of year, right? You're really trying to limit as much as you can from the other team's offense, obviously, right? especially in those high danger areas. And I think that's something we've really started to see, some improvement on from this team here down the stretch this season. Again, like I said a little bit ago, I thought they hung out and hung in with Vegas all night long. Like I thought it was a really evenly matched game, between two teams again who are, really battling, for playoff position right now. And I was looking at the Vegas lineup before the game, and I was like, man, that's just not a very scary lineup. And then you watch them out there, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. They got 3-4 lines that can roll. They got a good defense. Even with missing guys like Alec Martinez and Mark Stone, two big pieces of that roster. This is a team that you just can't take lightly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring it up here, but they were down a couple other players there as well, right? And they get into the playoffs, and if Stone does come back, I think he had the back injury, right, from the LTIR. If he's able to come off that, I mean, it's gonna be a good team.
I'd be surprised, man. Just with how little we've heard about it, right? And he had surgery last year. He's had surgery already this year, 1 or 2 procedures done. I know that there was some talk from Elliot Friedman kind of around the time that this injury kind of cropped up about this could be a very serious one that could really limit his future in the NHL, which is really unfortunate to say. I mean, I don't know. I'd be surprised if they could get him back in time. Riley Smith, that's another guy they were missing from their top 6. Just pulling it up on dailyfaceoff.com, looking at all their injuries right now. That's another really solid player for them up there.
Liam with a great point. Liam's the best. LB revenge game. We should have known this one was coming. That LB would steal this show out. I mean,
can you guys believe he's 30 years old?
No.
Before the game, I was like, what the hell? How old am I? This is ridiculous. I remember when he just broke in with the Edmonton Oilers, when he was, coming in as a backup in those, couple of seasons that he was here. It's 30 years old now.
Yeah, and he played for the Oil Kings too for a few years too, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely did. Yeah. Big
Zach, are you 30?
No, I'm not 30.
You're not even 30. I'll tell you, okay, when I first broke into the biz, I used to do on-site production for the Oil Kings, and I would walk past LB, now I'm thinking about him 5 years older than the guy. He'd be doing his little warm-up, and I'd have to cut through it every time. He and Tristan Jarry would find a wall, and they just whip balls against them just to work on their hands. And I'd walk past every single time, out of the way, kid. Yeah, now he's 30. So you guys got nothing to worry about. He's still older than you. He's 5 years younger than I am. So don't worry about it too much.
Don't worry. You don't look a day over 34, Connor.
Thank you. Moisturizer every day. Get those iPad things.
Yeah, you got that skincare routine.
Self-care, you guys. Self-care. Oilers win the cup. Oilers win the cup. I'll drop the routine. 63 people here in the chat on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. Time escapes no one. Yes, Lance, you're right. 100%. Hey, it's better than the alternative. Getting old is better than the alternative. That's what I always tell myself. Looking ahead to the next couple games here, obviously, the Coyotes are one that you can't take lightly. We assuming we're going to go back to Jack Campbell in that game. Any disagreement there?
I don't know how you can. I guess you got to play Jack Campbell in one of those games, right? Probably have to give him the Arizona game just because of how important that Vegas game is. And you kind of hate to say you're going to throw away 2 points, but you kind of throwing away 2 points, or you got to be prepared to at least. It's tough. It is really hard with Campbell to feel any sort of confidence playing him in net. But I do think that you got to go back there because that Tuesday game is just more important. You got to have your guy in Stu out there.
Yeah, I'm probably going back to Jack Campbell in the Arizona game, but I'll ask you guys this. Are you guys, I don't want to say worried about Skinner, but he hasn't had over a 900% save percentage his last 3 games.
Yeah, you know what? This is again, this is a guy who's a rookie in the NHL. And this is a guy who's still trying to find his way. These are the big games now at this point in time. Is there a level of concern? Absolutely. I didn't think he looked excellent tonight. I think he has struggled some of these last couple of games here. So, hopefully the Oilers can get a really good game out of Campbell on Monday and takes a little bit of that pressure off on Tuesday, right? I think Skinner's had a bit of an up and down season. I think there's been a couple of stretches where he's gone, sub 900 or, sub 905 for a little bit of a run. And hey, hopefully this is just a little bit of a soft stretch before the playoffs and he really heats up.
Yeah. We've got Tyson says sets up a Skinner revenge game on Tuesday. Kurt M says, gosh, I don't want to see Campbell play FFS. Yeah, no swearing on the internet, Zach. You can't get away with that sort of thing.
Oops.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking. You drop it all you want. It gives us street cred. I'm kind of with you. Like, I think there is a little bit of concern, but there's just going to be those ups and downs with Stuart Skinner. I think the
Yeah, for
encouraging
sure.
sign is, though, that he never lets that. No, I should take that back. He rarely lets in that goal that makes it a 2 or 3 goal lead, right? Like, he kept the Oilers in it when he had to make a few big saves. The first goal was bad, 100%. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that when you need him to make that save,
For sure.
especially in the first shot of the game. But it's a good point because this was brought up I think 2 shows ago. You know, it was basically like you guys rip on Campbell when he's poor, but you don't do the same for Stuart Skinner. And that was a game where we had just said Stuart Skinner was okay. We didn't think he was great, but we thought he was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously probably not the ideal situation going into the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers, but it's reality. You're going to have Stuart Skinner in there, and unless something crazy happens, I don't think Jack Campbell's going to get that shot.
No, exactly.
Well,
like
sorry, go
Stuart
ahead,
Skinner, sure. Stuart Skinner's 100% still our guy. The thing I like about Skinner that Campbell really doesn't possess is Skinner does not let his mistakes keep compacting, in which you need an NHL goaltender, right? He bounces back from goals against that Campbell really doesn't. So yeah, 100% Skinner is still our guy, and I do 100% have confidence in him going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And Rusty the Reckless Optimist in the YouTube chat makes a good point too. This is something that I wrote about last week where Rusty said basically with Skinner, he's making the clutch saves on a game by game basis.
Yep.
I think that's also, on top of what you said, Gavin, another big thing that separated these two guys this year, right? It's felt like, in Jack Campbell's case, he's really struggled to make the big saves when they really need him to. Like it's weird. Like he'll play like the first 2 periods and let in these really weak goals. Then all of a sudden in the third, he'll come up with a nice save or 2 to kind of keep him in the game. But when the game's on the line and they really need that big stop, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable and confident in Stuart Skinner. And again, his ability to not let those things compound, like you mentioned, Gavin, I think, just further solidifies him as, the guy.
And pretty remarkable too for a guy who is in his first full year in the NHL for his full season. Just that maturity that he shows, outstanding. The Oilers in their last 10, 7-2-1. So I don't think we need to panic like they're playing terrible hockey. They lost in overtime to the first place team in the Pacific Division, so we don't have to panic or anything. And I don't think too many people are. It's a pretty calm crowd right now in the chats.
And despite like Skinner's kind of shaky numbers over his last 3 games, I still think he's won 8 of his last 10 starts between the pipes too. So he's still finding out ways to win for us, and that's all we need, especially with our high-powered offense.
100%. The team's obviously going to score a few goals. Kind of a rare off.
A few guys for that. 4 30-goal scores, so I think we'll be okay.
Exactly. With Evander Kane, who stays healthy, potentially another one there. Tonight in the game, Connor McDavid held to 1 point, so he's up to 139 on the season. Leon Draisaitl a goal and an assist. With his first assist of the game, that put him up to 111 on the year, and that was a career high. So congratulations to Leon Draisaitl. He, along with Nuge and Hyman and McDavid, they're all going to set career highs in that fantastic years. Nuge had 1 helper. He's up to 89. So 9 games left. He needs 11 points for 100. Yes or no, Zach? Does he get there?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, I think you take a look at it. I think there's a soft enough schedule here for the Oilers, down the stretch run of this season here. And he's produced great offense this year. It's really been incredible to see the way that he's played this season. Now knowing that he's been a dad and waiting for the last number of months, it really explains a lot, I think, as to the tremendous season that he's had. The power of the dad is running through the veins of Nuge this season. It's kind of cool to see, right? I mean, 10 years ago when this kid came out of Red Deer, we're all like, wow, this guy could have some real offense to his game down the road and be a great point producer, and he always just settled into being a really strong 2-way center. There was nothing ever wrong with that. And, you look at these last 3 or 4 seasons here, he had that 1 season with the 69 points, and that was like, wow, like look at that offense that you're getting from him all of a sudden. And now he's just hitting this, this whole other level, like a beautifully aged fine wine. He's just getting better and better with time. And it's really cool to see, like I always hearken to, him being a guy who I felt was like a Pavel Datsyuk light, right? Like he never had like those massive flashes of brilliance. that Datsuk would have either offensively or defensively. But again, people tend to forget, like, for a long time in this city, Ryan Nugent Hopkins had the hardest matchups of anybody. Like I remember him going up against like Joe Thornton in San Jose all the time. And like that being the hard matchup for Nuge. Like he has not had an easy run through his NHL career. And it's really great to see him getting rewarded the way that he has this season.
Gavin, what do you think? Is he getting to 100?
Yeah, in case Big Malk is watching, I better say yes. No, but no, I do think Nuge is going to hit it 110%. Yeah, and like Zach said too, our schedule is very, very favorable going forward. So yeah, I'm all for Nuge hitting that 100 mark.
And just want to give a shout out to Bagged Milk and his pup. Glad to see running around their fashion icon. We're all happy to see that one for sure. Frank says on Facebook, Kane messed up big time. First, he lets his man go and skates behind the net. Yeah, we touched on that one. It wasn't a very good play for sure. It's fair to be critical of that one. I'm sure Evander will see it and probably not want to see it on film, but he'll see it. Mark on Facebook says the Oilers didn't play bad, just Vegas did a better job of shutting down the big guys. Connor, 1 assist, 2 shots on goal. And OJ Von Baron says, good loss, take the point. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know if there's any good losses, but I don't think this is one where we need to really lose our mind and freak out about it. Should mention, if you want to throw the old Oilers Nation sticker on the back of your car, you can head over to any Oodle Noodle location in Edmonton. They're giving away free Oilers Nation stickers to all fans. You can visit any Oodle Noodle location today to snag a sticker and some tasty noodles. There's a good chance those stickers are sold out because they fly off whenever they come in. But hey, go check out your local Oodle Noodle in Edmonton. Try to pick one up. Gavin, I noticed you had a pretty fun little parlay going. We talked about your last parlay on, what day is the day? Saturday. So it was Wednesday. I mean, if you're going to Betway, we always say bet responsibly. Gavin's a king of that. Only does the $5 bets, 19 plus. But Gavin, you were what? An Evander Kane assist away from doing it again.
Yeah, I was Evander Kane assist away. So yeah, I got Draisaitl to score in a match he did, Hyman to score, Eichel to score, Eichel over 2.5 shots, Draisaitl over 2.5 shots, Barbashev over 0.5 assist. In the last leg, couldn't get it. Evander Kane, 1 assist, couldn't get it. But for a $5 bet, got a little sweat out of it. Still enjoyable. Still enjoyed it.
Zach, do you throw any money down with Betway tonight?
No comment.
No comment. Okay.
I threw together the same.
I saw the shutout one. Shutout one.
I got a little cocky and I threw together one and I put a Stuart Skinner shutout in there and that bastard was busted about a minute into it. I was upset and everybody was like razzing me. They're like, well, what do you expect? I'm like, well, I know what to expect. It's a plus 9,000 parlay.
So never again. I was thinking about that for my bold prediction or like my Betway prediction going into the next game, but how do you say it? I don't even want to like put it out there in the universe at this point because as soon as it doesn't happen, I know where some people will be coming. The Discord chat will be going all at me, and yeah, we shall see. It should be a fun one though when the Oilers break out on this mini road trip, back-to-back games. Starting off on Monday, 8:00 start, taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Why don't we get to our little prediction here? We'll start with you, Zach. How about sorry, my energy saver just turned on and it rattled me. A Betway prediction and a score prediction as well.
Okay, so my Betway prediction is I'm going to go Arizona Coyotes under 2.5 team goals. I think the Oilers are going to have a bit of a stronger defensive effort here against Arizona this time around. And I think they're going to really play well in front of Jack Campbell. I also think Jack Campbell's going to come out and have a strong game. Just throwing it out there, like this guy's due, right? Like at some point, he's got to put together a good game or two here. He knows how important these games are right now in the season. So I'm going with the Yotes under what did I say? Under 2.5 team goals.
2.5,
yeah. And I'm going to go with an Oilers 5-2 victory.
Gavin, the Magic Man, let us know.
I'm going to go for my prop bet. I'm going to do McDavid 2 goals or more. He's done it in back-to-back games against Arizona. And then for score prediction, I'm going to go 5-1 Oilers.
Do you think they can do Cody Ceci goal score? Would they even have that listed?
No, I don't think they do have that one listed. I've looked around a little bit, but no, they don't. They have kind of just the big game or the big guns, I should say, for each team.
Okay, because I would love to throw a little bit down like on Cody Ceci. I feel like he's due. I think the game's coming around. He could find a way to do it. I had Matthias Ekholm was my prediction to get a goal for this game, and he had a couple chances. McDavid set him up, but didn't work out. Okay, I don't know. I'll say the Oilers go crazy, 6-2 win, and with that, just take the over, and you should be good. I think last time it was at like 6.5. It was easy money for those who partook in that one. Okay, I think we got everything covered here so far. We got the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. You can check them out, cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote, and make sure to use code word NATION for a discount. We mentioned AMA Travel. If you're going anywhere, maybe you're planning a playoff trip to Vegas or to LA, I think those would be the two most likely options. But, anywhere, AMA can help you with them. Check them out, AMA Travel. Mentioned Oodle Noodle and Betway. So we're covered on all those aspects. Anything else you want to get to here on the show, Zach?
One last thing I want to say, the Oilers really cannot take Arizona lightly. I was just kind of looking at it as we've been sitting here. On the season, the Arizona Coyotes have the 8th best points percentage on home ice this season. They have a 632 points percentage this season, which is honestly kind of bonkers to sit here and say. When you look at their road numbers, they have a 295 points percentage on the road, which is by far the worst in the entire NHL. So some pretty insane splits there from them. So you know what? They really love playing at home in front of the Mullet fans, and Oilers really got to buckle down for this one. This is a 2 points they really need to work for.
How about you, Gavin? Anything you got to get off your chest here?
No, and let's just lock it down. Let's just put up a good game defensively, and like Zach said, and don't take them lightly. Go in there. Let's secure those 2 points.
Okay, my last question for you guys, and then we'll actually wrap it up here. And I want to ask everybody watching on YouTube, Facebook as well. Out of 10, how interested would you be in going to a game at Mullet Arena? I mean, it's cozy, but I don't know if it's quite the same as another arena. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest level of checking out a game at the Sun Devils rink down in the desert, Zach? What do you got?
Oh man, a 1,000 out of 10. I couldn't imagine a more fun hockey experience right now in the NHL. You go down there, they got a barn of 4,500, 5,000 seats. That place is going to be so intimate. It's going to be a party. I am all in on it being a really cool thing. Long-term sustainability wise, I hate it. I hate the fact that it's even happened in the first place, because I do think it's embarrassing. But don't get me wrong, I'd love to go party down there.
We've got Mike saying 9, Wise Kyle 10, Curtum says 2, Lance 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 all day.
Kenneth Mark Holland 9, Snars Attacks 4, Ewan 7.5, Maynard no numbers, just absolutely. QF Pro 21, 11 out of 10. Pardoneski says 9, Jack the Oilers fan 8. Oilers at the Mullet. Yeah, we've got F who just says 6, but can the Mullet do a laser show? Man, the Mullet can do anything. Probably not as good as the Telus World of Science, but if they play a little outcast and get the lasers going, it'd be pretty cool. Gavin, how about you? Any interest in that? Because I know you're a football fan. You like the big stage, but the Chargers once played at a soccer stadium. So what do you think?
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure. And then going to Arizona, you just make a huge sports trip out of it. So don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want that to be my home arena that I see every NHL game, but to go there for a once-in-a-lifetime experience, hell yeah, 10 out of 10.
Dr. Gonzo, 10 out of 10, would get a filthy haircut and get those cheap beers. It's sad that McDavid's going to play in only 5,000 people. Chris says 9. And you know what? It'd be really cool to see, because there's no bad seats. You see McDavid just ripping around out there. You're right beside him, basically.
I wonder what the prices would be to go check out a game there. I don't see it being too crazy.
No, I mean, unless it's just tough to get your hands on a ticket. Yeah. But as I mentioned, AMA Travel, if you want to get a quick trip, those guys can hook you up. Aaron Bardado chimes in on Facebook. Hi, guys. Aaron, Saturday night, what are you doing? Get out there. Go have some fun. We've got Doyle says 10. Atmosphere looks intense, small rink. And OJ Von Barron, Flames in the Corral first year, 10 out of 10. Wow, that's going way back. Even I'm not old enough to check that one out. All right, guys, let's wrap this one up so Aaron can go back and hit whatever nightclub he's supposed to get out there to. On behalf of everyone who tuned in tonight, thank you so much. Zach, Gavin the Intern, appreciate it tonight. It was a lot of fun. We'll be back on Monday night after the Oilers hopefully take down the Arizona Coyotes. I'm Connor Halley. This is Oilers Nation After Dark. We'll talk to you next time.